look in the eyes of my brother without shedding a tear.
Now this bitch, yo.
Oh, what's going on over there?
Yo, welcome back to another episode of the InforMILLy Honest podcast. We appreciate y'all for coming back.
Hold on, let me interrupt really quick, just because, and I know I don't like interrupting, but I just got to say that Josh is finna handle somebody, and I had to like hit record to save that person. He's about to fuck somebody up, so we had to hit record.
No, that was my old. I don't know if y'all listen. I hate to do this without Adam here. We ain't really gonna talk about it because I want to say that for when Adam is here. But that new Silk Sonic is fucking fantastic, and the new single "Smoking Out the Window." As soon as I heard this bitch, I was like, "This is a fucking hit." This is gonna be a chart topper right here.
We got one on our hands.
But if this is your first time joining us here at InforMILLy Honest, we like to talk about this thing called life, and most of all, if nothing else, we're gonna always be forthright, vulnerable, and honest. And man, it's been some interesting times. I got a point of vulnerability for me this week. I've been dealing with some injuries, and I finally got a chance to go to a doctor. And I hate doctors just because most of the time it's never been a pleasant experience for me. I hate the Western medical system in general. But so I finally get in and talk to this motherfucker. And I have a back issue and a hip issue going on. And so only thing they wrote down was hip pain. And I was like, and so he just kept on asking me about the shit in my hip because apparently right now I have a hernia, and anything else I would need either like an X-ray or an MRI, which I knew before coming to this bitch, and I don't have medical degrees. And so talking to him, and he's like, okay, so what are you feeling in your pain? What pain are you feeling? What is happening? When did it happen? What's going on with this? And so he keeps asking questions, but he's only addressing my hip, and I was going, my back though is what actually hurts. My hip is just bothered. I'm sure they're related in some way. And so then at the end of it, he's like, okay, well, I'm just gonna prescribe you some heavy dosage ibuprofen, maybe with some steroids. And I was like, but what about like an X-ray or MRI or something? He's like, well, it's not a fracture. And I was like, nigga, we don't know that because you ain't. I get that I'm walking. I'm also a dancer, which makes me a super nigga. And so I deal with pain on a daily basis. I need you to give me some better assessment than this. And so I was like, okay, but even if it isn't a fracture, there's clearly some musculature issues going on that could be nerve damage. Wouldn't an MRI be useful? And he goes, oh, well, maybe, but I'm not sure your insurance will cover it. Well, nigga, can we ask? What the fuck are we doing here?
Yeah. That's what they do. They just go off of what they think like your financial situation is.
Exactly. And I was like, yo, is there a way, like, what's the process to finding this shit out? It's like, okay, well, I'll put it in the request and you should hear from them in like a week. And I was like, nigga, if I was like really fucked up, you telling me I just gotta sit here and writhe in pain for a week, which I'm already doing, until these motherfuckers go, excuse me, you may not qualify for this, brokey. Like,
yeah, it sucks, yo. But finances are a big part of whether you even might even get turned away. Yeah,
that's
like my sister, bro. She went in for a surgery, and they told her 2 days before the surgery that she had to pay up front. Like, how it used to be where you'd like get this, you'd get the procedure done, and then a while later
they bill you.
Yeah. They told her 2 days beforehand that you have to pay everything that your insurance want before we're actually able to even bring you in to do the surgery. Like before we're willing to do anything. So she had to come up with several stacks in a couple of days. So, she's like going about her life thinking she's going to pay later and whatnot. But that was apparently that changed during COVID. Like you have to have the money that your insurance is not willing to pay beforehand. And that shit is wild, man. It's like, Definitely shit has changed. But at the same time, doctors don't have time for whatever reason. Like they're not even either willing or have the time nowadays to spend any real time on you to figure out, let me ask questions about what you do. Let me ask what, you know what I'm saying? It's just, all right, I'm gonna prescribe this. I can't speak for everybody, but like that's the shit that more so irks me. And like you have time to only write a prescription as opposed to seeing if it could be any other thing else.
Right.
That's
Like,
the shit is like.
What the fuck is up with all of these goddamn medical shows of ER and House and all this kind of shit where motherfuckers are like, no, we got to find out what the actual diagnosis. I'm not losing nothing.
Yeah.
Like what the fuck is all this medical propaganda?
That's a good point, man. That you going to the doctor, that scene would have been way different in a show. Like,
yeah,
they're gonna bring in all kind of state of the art stuff. They're gonna find out.
It makes those doctors have a heart on those shows. Like, why are you lying to us? Why are you lying?
Right, we must find it. He's not leaving here until we get to the bottom of it.
Yeah, why the fuck are y'all making those doctors seem like people too? This shit ain't real.
I'm just like, man, this and motherfuckers wonder why like men and especially black men don't go to the doctor to get anything checked on. It's because why am I going here to pay for these consultations and y'all don't do shit? It's like the last time I threw my back out a couple of years ago teaching out in Gary, and when I went to the ER, they literally like, we can give you an X-ray, but it's probably too swollen to see anything, and so.
Yeah, I just got one question, bro. Were you teaching dance or were you teaching somebody a lesson?
Those are the same thing, but
you know what I mean. You know what I mean. Were you simultaneously blowing another back out? Was it consensually being taught a lesson? Wait
a minute. That makes me sound like a pedophile.
No, consensually, man. Consensually.
There's consensual pedophiles out there, but
okay. I guess that's true.
Like Westside is a high school. No, I was not out here fucking kids.
Adults, man. I'm sorry. It felt good in my mind. It felt good at your expense in my mind.
Teacher. I used to teach when they closed Emerson, they put some of the arts programs in Westside because I don't know if y'all know that Westside's the only public high school left.
I did not know that.
Yeah. To my knowledge, there's only 3 high schools left in the city, and the other 2 are charter.
I guess I shouldn't be surprised, man.
Yeah, I knew that they were like rapidly leaving, so it was like, and everything that happened with ours, like moving into where it was gone, but even, Roosevelt,
what was crazy is been gone. I don't know if y'all knew or remember this, but they didn't even move Emerson into Word immediately. They did a year at Kennedy King.
Kennedy King, yeah.
Oh, I did not know. Wait. So like the year after us, so like Chris's class was in Kennedy King?
Yeah. So the 09 year. They were so 08 was the last graduating class out of our building.
Right. Okay.
And then 09, they moved them and Tolliston into Kennedy King.
Damn, I must have missed that part. Shit.
And so Marco, you remember how Kennedy King was shaped like a big U?
Yeah.
It was on one side it was Tolliston, and on the other side it was Emerson.
And then the office in the middle, kind of.
Yeah, and the office in the middle.
Yeah.
It was like a big square, like a square rectangle.
Yeah. How many students were in a class? Damn,
had to be
too many. Because I'm like,
way too many.
Emerson is middle through high school, and they only had half the building.
Yeah. I'm like, what? Dude?
Unless they made the middle school students be with Tolliston, which I don't know. But then they moved them to Wirt after that, and then they moved Tolliston into one of the other middle schools, and then moved Banneker into Kennedy King.
Yeah, they've made enough terrible decisions
for a lifetime.
Yeah.
This
So
is
yeah.
true. This is true.
So for anyone who doesn't know anything about Gary Schools, Gary Community School Corporation is shit, and I don't work for them anymore, so I will talk fucking freely.
Oh,
Yeah. There we go. There we go.
we're coming soon. Tell all.
Yeah. Yeah.
When we were in
No
high school,
endorsements. Goddamn.
when we were in high school, these dumb niggas spent $2 million on pencils for standardized testing that we didn't get. Just to talk about, you know.
And when we had at the same time we had asbestos or some shit going on in the building in several different parts of the building, and you spent $2 million on fucking pencils. Come on, man.
Asbestos and black mold.
It was like a whole bunch of legal stuff going on, you know.
Oh yeah,
as far as corruption throughout this whole time. So
throughout the whole
we had
time,
teachers.
I don't know what was going on. Like some money was being slipped into pockets or something.
Pockets, right?
And we had teachers like going out sick from the mold and asbestos and everything at the same time. They were physically teachers showing symptoms and having to leave, and still, like, the shit's wild, dog.
So yeah,
that shit's wild.
Shout out to them, and also, you know,
shout out to the people who had to work in them environments. And
yeah, man.
Well, we had to go to school there.
We had to go to school there, but you know, we were young and it had immortality.
What I was gonna say is, asbestos or not, black mold or not, I'm in that bitch on Nacho Day. I'm in that bitch on Nacho Day. I don't care how unhealthy the environment is on Nacho Day. I was in that bitch. So.
Orange pizza.
That was it. It was the only two.
It was nachos and pizza. You ain't really, no one cared about any of the shit that they were going to serve.
Hey, the cinnamon rolls was on point when they made them.
I forgot about that.
Remember that.
Yeah.
Facts, yo.
Facts. Why was school lunch allowed to be that kind of horrible? Like, nachos isn't a meal.
True, man.
True. That's the shit. You should not be washing down whatever chicken or fish fillet sandwich with milk.
Agreed. Like, were there options for water? I know this sounds silly. How often did we get? There was no water option outside like a water fountain.
There was a water fountain, but there was no.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
There was no bottled water was a luxury that kind of came up with us. It was not as frequent as it is now.
On top of that, you had to wait in line for water, like
right.
You actually have to wait.
I remember. What was the biology teacher's name?
Oh man, I bumped into her on accident one time.
Miss Patman was chemistry. What was her name?
Patton.
Yeah, I remember Miss Patton.
Miss Patton. Yeah. You're right. Patton.
Yeah.
Miss Patton was like one of these days she was gonna get us a microscope so we could like see all the enzymes in some water. And so we were like, oh, we can get water from the fountain. And she said, no, I don't want to know that.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's amazing. Yeah.
But yo, speaking of discomfort, let's go ahead and hop into this. Is there any place or environment that you think that consistently you either feel uncomfortable or out of place or anything like that? I can jump in there if y'all need a second.
Yo, give me 1 second to tell this quick story though, and then we could jump in. It's
okay.
I don't know if it's not necessarily. I guess it was forthright. I don't. It's funny enough to like say. So I'm on my route the other day. I think it was like a Tuesday or something, and I'm making a delivery. As I come back from the delivery, I see this old lady. She's got to be at least in her 80s. Like I'm thinking, like I'm assuming maybe like late 70s, early 80s. And she's like cleaning this car, but I couldn't quite see it because there was another car in front. As I got closer to the van, I could see that it was some like gorgeous old school like Saline Mustang with the soft top. And it's just funny to see an old lady on a step stool, like, you know, cleaning her car. That's just like a muscle car that's typically you see dudes doing. But the fact that she was like probably in her 80s and she stops and looks at me, her and I both look at each other and like connect eyes, and she's like, yeah, it's pretty cool, ain't it? I was cracking up, dude. I was like, absolutely. Anyway, I just want to tell that story, man. that was gonna be my story for the week. It had to be told. Shout out to that 80-year-old lady who had a gorgeous off-white Saline Mustang with the top back. That thing was a beauty, man. And the fact that she just knew it was some gangster shit, man. So shout out to her on the steps too. I hope she made it down safely.
Come on, Lady Lecrae. Lady Lecrae. I don't know.
That reminds me of like I go to this video game store, and this is like a she gotta be like the same age. This lady who works there, and she's like a genius at video games. Like her knowledge of video games like stretch way beyond mine, and like she was just like showing off her knowledge of it. Like, like I'll ask her a question and she would just be like, yeah, those like what controllers changed and blah 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 and this like just whatever you could think of. So she impressed me.
Yeah, and her face was saying like, go ahead, ask me another one. Go ahead, I got you.
I think I brought it up before. Did y'all ever check out that docuseries Game Over?
Not yet, man. Not yet.
Nope.
And it makes me bringing up that woman makes me think about stuff like that, where you're like these people who have just been gaming for decades, like beyond decades, and just to have this extensive knowledge of this particular thing. I'll always get fascinated by people who just have extensive knowledge over something.
Yeah, man. And I guess I can't say that my lady had extensive knowledge. The only thing we both knew and connected on in that moment is that she looked really fucking cool.
Yeah.
That's the thing
that
we agreed on.
Like an unlikely person to have that rare thing or knowledge, basically.
Yeah. We both locked eyes like, yeah, that's pretty fucking cool.
But she got to know what's cool, at least.
Yeah. Shout out to our ignorant teenage years, because I don't know why that makes me think of Aaron's story makes me think of that time we were clowning the fuck out of Lamar for loving Lecrae so much. And no disrespect to Lecrae. Lecrae is great, but he was like, "Come on, man, you got to hear this." It was like riding with my top down, listening to this Jesus music. Oh,
that was great, yo. That's going in Emerson history right there. That's Emerson history right there.
Shout out to Lamar, man.
Top 20 countdown for sure.
You listening to this, man? There's people I can always attribute shit to going. We clowned you for this back in the day, but they're actually dope.
He put us on.
Yeah, I used to clown Russell for listening to KRS-One because I had no idea who the fuck that was. Exactly. Now I'm like, man, Russell was ahead. Russell was really...
yeah.
But
you can continue. My bad for the interruption, dog.
You good. So the question is there a place or environment you consistently feel uncomfortable or out of place, etc.? And I'm gonna go ahead and jump in there. Mine. I'm sure there are others, but the first place will always come to mind. Cracker Barrel. Cracker Barrel is it will consist every time. When I was a kid, I would walk in there and just go. I just feel like I don't belong here. I don't know why. I just like you were sitting there rocking chair in the front of you, like rocking chair should be fun, but. Anybody else hear like a whistle? And every time we're in there, I'm looking at the menu and like chicken fried steak, and I was like, something about these recipes,
country.
It feels familiar and wrong. I just can't put my finger on what it is. Feels a little slavey.
You walk in and immediately start thinking of roots.
Not even thinking of roots. Just you just hear get that nigger. Like
you immediately want to see the conditions of the workers.
Yeah, like well, how y'all okay back there? Like no one's making you slave over that gravy. But that was always one place where I was just like, man, this place because it don't feel right. It just don't feel right. And it was before I even had context. It just didn't feel right.
Yeah. Just so good, so believable, and so good.
I remember. I would say as a kid, I don't know about consistent. We said consistently, but
Relatively.
I used to feel out of place often in church
Mm.
when they would do like kind of like exciting stuff out of nowhere, like or somebody scream out of nowhere, or somebody start like running around yelling, or
Catch
stuff like
shouting,
that,
catching the Holy Ghost.
or
Mm-hmm.
or call you out, or try to make you say something, or you know how they be like.
Yep.
If you a guest at a church and make you stand up,
Make you stand up. And
yeah,
sing,
all that type of stuff.
Sing the church's welcome song.
Yeah.
We welcome you. We're glad you came.
And then you gotta hug like 300 people.
Dude, you took. That's actually the one I was gonna say, Mark. I was like, church too, man. Like
everybody know that's just a fraction of all this, stuff that could happen. Like, I know everybody has seen some stuff.
I'm trying to think of.
You be trying to. A lot of times it'd be like the funniest place though. At the same time, it's still like it'll be uncomfortable at times, but sometimes it just be hilarious.
Oh, absolutely.
Go ahead.
But
I was gonna say, I guess I could say like therapy is one of those places too, because it's definitely could be uncomfortable. Obviously, a lot of it was because I wasn't ready to talk about the shit, and like you had your other people are like breaking down, and I'm like, yo, I'm just sitting there like, you're not gonna get that out of me. You're not gonna get that out of me. I mean, I'm impressed, but it ain't gonna, but I'm trying to think other places where I felt like.
Did you anywhere you specifically felt out of place?
Dentist office.
Dentist office.
Elaborate on that, sir.
I mean, I guess not out of place, but just like, when you'll be in a waiting room or something and you hear the drilling, it's just a very uncomfortable feeling. Like to know, like, maybe that's you next. And I don't know. It's one of those things where when it's over, it's like, oh, it wasn't that bad, but it's like, I've had some times I've been to the dentist where it's like, I just want to go back home. But, we do it.
I got some on the top of my tongue, man. I got it on the tip of my tongue, not the top, the tip. Just the tip of my tongue. I got it. You said out of place. I could think of something like nowadays, but I'm trying to like work my way up to that from childhood, man. I think church definitely comes into play, partially because I didn't always go to church very often, and whenever I did, it would be like, I don't know if y'all remember the Family Christian Center. It was just like a big to do. Like that place was like big. It's all about big shows. It felt like
it's a mega church.
Yeah, I mean, it would be so many people there, and like they at one point they had this shit installed where like whatever was, let's say if they were trying to simulate like the wind being like, if something was going on stage and it would make sense for you to feel wind, like if somebody went really fast past somebody else and you wanted to get the experience of the person who's experiencing that wind, they would have some air or something come out of the chairs or something. I'm like, yo, and the
old school 3D experience, experience rides,
and the seats would move, and the seats would like rumble and move, and I'm like, yo, where is God in all of this?
They need to have this.
God is in the
Disneyland.
God is in the production budget.
Like, yo, how much money did they put? How many tithes? How many tithings or months of tithings did it take to get this? You know what I'm saying? Yo, to bring this
church full of special
about.
Effects.
Yeah, yo. Why do I feel like Steven Spielberg or some other great or Michael Bay Michael Bay is behind that?
Yo,
you just can't be a bum and come to this church.
Nah,
if you ain't the shit, don't come to this church, bro.
Yeah, man. It was some cool stuff, but
you're not ready for this level.
Yeah, right.
A praise,
but it was. You're right. Though. It was kind of like when I would. So you'd have stuff like that, and then you'd have like where the pastor would come on and speak and everybody be quiet, and then out of the blue, somebody from 100 yards away, because the church was huge. So somebody from the other team's end zone, would just start yelling, or like, I guess feeling the Holy Ghost, or like start speaking in tongues and shit. So those are things that, like, especially the first time I had never heard. I'm like, what the fuck is going on over there, yo?
People just falling.
Yeah, or just like, oh my God, oh my God. Yo, bro, for real, bro. It's always because it came out of nowhere. It's always because it came out of the blue. And like, yeah, it probably was some James Brown shit. I just didn't get to see their shoes. I wanted to see their feet. I'll check out that footwork.
I actually got one that just came to mind. Clubs, more often than not.
Ooh, yes. Yeah. Me too.
Because I'm a dancer, and so I be wanting to dance and shit like that. And regardless of age or era, if you were at a regular club where even pre-trap era, if you were like, crunk or whatever the fuck niggas was doing in the early 2000s, it's a thing of if you danced in a club that was more than like juking or just being behind somebody, motherfuckers looked at you like you were fucking insane or lame as shit. Or even when I some queer spaces I would go to, because I'm a straight dude but I'm a dancer, they'll dance in those environments, and so that's usually more fun and all of that kind of stuff. But in my experience, just speaking generally, stud lesbians hate me in them spaces.
Oh, right.
Because of your dance, because of your desire.
No,
just because of what they're okay.
Just because I'm a cis straight dude in a queer space, and so
okay, gotcha.
It would get a lot of like just challenging energy, or I walk past and
basically they threatened by him because their girl is looking.
And that has happened. It wasn't always the case. Sometimes it was just unprompted. It would be weird, and that hasn't been always the case. But a lot of times, if it's one of those spaces that's just open but clearly run in a queer capacity, and then a lot of stud lesbians show up, they get mad challenging.
I came to party. Your girl was
looking. Yeah. Yeah. He's a haggler. No, not.
What you want to do?
What? Yeah.
Shout out to Nori.
Woo! Man, that song is fire.
Drink Chance is such a fun show. Not to deter, but we can always come back to this. That Ye episode was absolutely ridiculous, and I did not finish it. I'll say that on record.
That was a good segue, by the way.
Yeah, it was. Yo,
it was. Thank you, Marcus, for that bridge.
Yeah, and yo, speaking of Pharrell's production, there's always dope ass bridges. So that was like amplified, to another level, yo.
He become a good interviewer, though, man. Like his interviews are great. I've been watching Drink Champs for a while, man. Like,
yeah, his interviews are great.
Even when they don't drink, like they don't have to drink. Like we just want to hear from these people. He has great guests.
Mm-hmm. Because Nori's a fucking legend in the game. And the other side of that is what feels great about when Nori and DJ EFN, the whole thing is just happy. It's real niggish, but the whole time they're just like they just chopping it up. It doesn't really feel like an interview. It just feels like some cats that ain't seen each other in a long time, got a mutual respect. Like, okay. Like even when they ask them like possibly flagrant or whatever shit, controversial shit, they're not asking it like they're trying to solicit some dirt. That he's just asking like
they know the game want to know
like yo, yeah. What the fuck really happened?
Yeah, and he does a really good job of just letting the person be, like giving them the space to really just be themselves, for sure. Like he gives them enough space to give full answers. Like I like that, man. He just lets people go off,
even though
just be themselves.
Even though when he does that, sometimes because they have that whole thing like, I give it up over real quick and then just start crying.
Yeah, I love
Yeah,
I
yeah,
love
yeah.
that shit's hilarious.
Sometimes
They used to
you can
do
tell
it
he's
too
not
much.
paying attention. They're not really paying attention to what the fuck is being said because Ye said some shit that was like, whoa, what the fuck did you just say? And then Nori will go, yeah, give it up for killing that nigga. Yeah.
Because it always starts with like, I don't know what the fuck you just said, but look, man, yo, Ye's in the house.
Yeah.
We got Ye
Yeah,
today.
yeah.
And we got about 27 viral moments.
Yeah, he's funny, man.
Yeah,
he's
man.
fucking
I
hilarious.
mean, so my take on it was, I gotta say, I enjoyed it both parts, and I still rock with Ye, man. I still rock with Ye. Yeah, man. I put a good 4 hours in. You know,
I watched the first part, but I didn't finish the second part. But I mean, it was pretty much the same of the first part. I mean, it was good though.
Just, he can't stay on the same thought, and it's so irritating. He'll start on one thing about classism, and then in the same sentence he'll be like, "I'm the richest nigga in here," so he contradicts himself constantly. It's so tiresome trying to hear him talk for a long period of time.
I've realized that about him, and maybe that's just because I do similar things. But you grab from several different aspects or several different contexts, and you bring it into making it relatable at the end. It's like you summarize it in the end, but you pull from different aspects of life or different contexts to kind of bring your point about. Maybe that's just some Gemini shit, man. You know?
I agree with Aaron. Like, I just get it. I get it, but I don't understand. Well, I mean, I kind of understand that too. Why he constantly. I mean, he just has that narcissistic trait about him. And you know that's never very appealing. You know, if people keep doing that over and over, like it's like, oh, okay, we know you're great. Like, you need that confirmation too often. And but besides that, I really connect with what he says. Like,
me too, man.
I'm on board, even if I'm not like 100% on board with his music. I mean. And honestly, it's not bad at this point. It's just like I don't get the same feeling as I used to with his music. Mm-hmm. Which I mean, it's not tragic. You know, his life will go on, mine will.
It's like it just is what it is. Yeah. And that's real. I mean, I respect it, but I don't know. I'm not in the camp anymore. I haven't been for some time. I want to be because of how. Particularly the first two albums and Twisted Dark Fantasy made me feel. And it's like artist, like I want to find like some kind of at least energetic camaraderie or perspective camaraderie or something like that with Ye, because I respect him as an artist because of those three projects in particular. But otherwise, it's just
yeah. You know what? I wonder, did he go on these like this last two albums? But let's just stick with Donda. Did he go back and use some of the same techniques or drums or vocals or choir or whatever aspects he used on those first few? Did he actually reuse some of those aspects, those instruments, those sounds on this album? I say that because I actually like this album. What was the one before that? Ye? The one before this one was Ye?
I couldn't tell
you. Or Jesus is King. My bad. Jesus is
King. Yeah, Jesus is King.
This one, more than the last few, I felt it resonated a little bit more with the feeling I got when I first listened to College Dropout and shit. I mean, not exactly because that was just fresh. That was my first introduction to him. Mm-hmm. It just felt like he was still hungry as an artist, you know?
I mean, our first introduction to him was We Are the Champions, right?
Oh, yes. Yeah. But But I don't know. I just like the feeling, that same feeling I get. There's a couple of joints on this Donda that after I listened to it several, like it really, a couple of them really stood out immediately. The rest took me, I had to like listen to it maybe 4 times to really kind of embrace it a little bit more. But anywho, it just like that. Some of those feelings still came up. So it was interesting, at least for me.
That's real.
Yeah. But otherwise, it does seem like Marcus said, I got to agree. I rock with most of what he's saying. I feel like I get it. However, it does seem like when you keep saying certain things the same way, it feels like, okay, you're saying this to reconvince yourself that you got to believe this. It's not even that he's trying to get other people to. He has to like reconvince himself that I still am the greatest. I still am whatever. At some point, it just feels like you're trying to remind yourself also if you got to keep saying that.
Do it with yourself. And I'm granted, we don't know what you do in your personal time. Yeah. But I'm like,
you know what? All right, it's cool. Let's go back to what do we say? I'm gonna give a situation that's a little more up to date, I guess.
Okay.
In regards to feeling out of place. Is uncomfortable kind of a synonym?
Or not necessarily. I think there's uncomfortability in being out of place, but uncomfortable doesn't necessarily mean that you are feeling out of place. If that makes sense.
True.
It's a square and rectangles situation.
Got you. Okay. Well, let's go. Yeah, let's take it back again.
Let's take it back.
I'll say like because Josh brought up clubs.
Like the full time.
Mr. McFly. Josh brought up clubs, which is like super. Like that was high on my list. I should have I don't know why that shit didn't come to mind immediately because that I felt the exact same way. But certain parties were like where I would just find myself sitting back and everybody else is like at the table cooking up work.
Cooking up work.
What the fuck does that mean?
I'm just like if at the time if I didn't drink and smoke, it's just like
no, I know what you.
If you're the only one, it feels like you're sitting on the couch watching like somebody's, some 10-year-old play NBA 2K where everybody else is like rolling one or like what I'm saying. It's just like if you're the only one who doesn't drink or smoke every weekend or whatever, like at the party, then you're just sitting back, It's the reason why it's that whole idea that like, yo, it's no fun if you're the only one not drinking or smoking and everybody else is getting lit.
I never really agree with that.
I found myself in that situation a couple of times and I was just like, nah, I like in that moment, I just wasn't feeling it. But then I looked to the left and the right of me and I was the only one on the couch. Everybody else was cooking up that work. So
I never really get that or got that sentiment. The first time I was around somebody who did mushrooms, I think I brought this up, and I was like, "Yeah, I don't really know y'all, so I'm not gonna do that." And they were like, "Okay, so you're just gonna sit here sober?" I was like, "Yeah, life be giving you highs sometimes,
Straight up.
Next thing you know, they over there, trying to fuck the colors they see coming out of the TV screen, and I was like, "Cool, I'm gonna take a nap."
Hey.
I would not take a nap there.
Yeah. I was like, this is actually pretty reckless. It was like, please don't harvest my organs.
Right. Lock his door.
I rebuke Josh's nap in the name of Jesus.
Right. I will not be taking naps.
I rebuke that nap, bro. I plead the blood of Jesus upon your nap, son. Let's go ahead and bring the church and everything. Yo, bring the choir in, please. Hey, check it out though. I remember a situation for where all 3 of us were involved. That was an out of place situation. We went to a club. It brings everything that we were talking about into one fucking night. It was Marcus's birthday. I had just got off of work at Penguin. And then somehow we all met up. And then we went out to the club. To several clubs, actually. And
we were over in
Milwaukee.
What is that? On Milwaukee.
Yeah.
Yes. And I can't remember. Was that the same night that we had other people with us? I don't think so. I think that was just us 3 because it was Marcus' birthday. We met that German girl. We met that girl who was German.
That girl who was trying to ask us for coke and shit.
Yes,
Yeah.
at her crib. We get to the crib. Everybody's cooking up that work. You know what I'm saying? Literally.
I remember an exact conversation from that night.
Yeah.
we were sitting in that house,
In that living room, yeah.
or whatever, talking about like, can you pee a whole like Pepsi bottle?
And we all had different names.
I was like, I think you could fill a whole one up. Josh was like telling me the exact like ounces, and I'm like, nah, I think I could do it. Put me on the right day.
Yo, that shit brings everything we've talked about thus far into play in one fucking scenario, son.
I had not thought about that in fucking forever.
I remember old girl kissed Marcus for his birthday. I remember that.
I don't even remember that, bro.
That German chick, remember?
She was the chick who brought us over there, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like her and her friend who brought us over there.
Yeah.
And we all sit, and then the chick who was like who owned the crib, she was saying like my boyfriend's like 10 years younger than me. I'm like, how you can't be in your 30s? How old is this motherfucker?
I remember it now.
She had some like young boyfriend or whatever. I'm like, well, shit. Yo, give me some head. That'll really piss him off. On some old Kanye shit. Give me some head. That'll really piss him off. Oh my gosh. Yeah, that was yo. You guys froze on my end. Yo, did I freeze? Yo, did I freeze on you guys' end?
Yeah, you froze real strong.
Damn, same to you guys.
You
You
like
guys froze on real strong. That was just a good. And the first thing she said once we got in and got settled, everybody sat down was, "So who wants some Coke?"
No, she was like, "You got." She looked dead at us and she goes, "You guys got any blow?" And we were like,
"Yeah, there we go."
No. What this look like?
But yo, did everybody remember their fucking names? I don't remember my name. That I went with my alias
I met last week.
But I remember, back to me either. But I do remember. But yo, that was a specific moment where I like, if you could remember a conversation about peeing in a fucking Coke can, we can remember the names we chose.
Yeah, but those are the happy moments that we create because of our friendship.
Yeah, probably. Yeah,
she was not that amazing.
She was pretty irrelevant to the situation. Besides putting us in the situation.
True, but the names we chose to have before we even got there for that night, we agreed to have alias names, and we agreed to have different professional careers. And I said I was a pro golfer, so not her name, our names that we chose. Not her name.
I don't remember my name, but I remember saying I was from like Mali or something.
Yeah, and
I remember us cracking the fuck up in one of them bars because I was trying to convince them that I couldn't
Enzi. You said
No, Menzi is my South African name.
Menzi. I thought you went with Menzi.
No, I didn't know that yet at the time. But no, I remember cracking up because we were trying to convince people that I couldn't say the word waffle. And I kept on going like, what is the what is the it's the breakfast. It's the breakfast food with the it's the walafa. What walafa? And we just kept on doing that to people. That's the one thing I do particularly remember, but I don't remember what my name was.
I just remember that I was a professional golfer, man, and like I was like the outfit I wore, like the actual penguin outfit that I wore was very reminiscent of a fucking professional golfer. So I just went with it, man. Yeah, that was a wild one, bro. That was one of those nights where you really are kind of just going with the flow and you have no fucking clue.
We gotta try to do some shit like that again. We always say all these tales about women that'll go out and with the fake name and the fake phone number. That shit's just fun.
Yeah, that was a night where I would say at some point we all felt somewhat out of place at some moment.
Oh yeah, but
for sure,
at least the great stories. Hence this.
Yes, most doubt, most def. No,
It's
no
like
doubt, and
most doubt.
Most
most
doubt.
doubt, folks.
Dang.
Most doubt, the most doubt possible. I could have just, if I truly didn't agree, I could have just said, I didn't have to say the most doubtful. I do
Cool
not
ass rap,
agree.
man. Most doubt, man.
Yeah. Yeah. Yo, you might have some here. Yo, this is a situation where I'm making a fucking clip. I know it. I'm gonna end up being on one of the snippets, but at my own expense. That's the worst possible situation to be in.
Oh man, there's nothing wrong with that, man. The comedy is the comedy.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Well,
Yeah,
what was I about to say?
No,
you got it.
I think we came up with some good ones in regards to like feeling out of place. I think.
Mhm.
I think
Now, would you say? Can you recall a time where you felt like you maybe entered a space that you weren't familiar with, and you changed the space to fit or accommodate you?
changed it. Could you
So
also
like,
say I kind of accepted where I was in a way and kind of just like, and it helped me embrace whatever the environment was, and I ended up having a good night kind of thing?
Sure, like, that's different than what I said, okay. But that works.
No, I'm trying to understand where you like what you mean more so when you say that. I'm trying to get a feel.
So more so like there's always not every space is warm and welcoming when you enter it. If you are the foreign entity to it, and getting people to warm up to you or connect with you and all those kind of things, where you're like, you came in and as we kind of say in some dancer environments, we're like, oh, you changed the molecules in the space. Like you came and became like the influence to go, okay, now I'm controlling. It's like when a stand-up comedian like really gets in their groove, like they're controlling how the room feels.
Okay, I see where you're going with this. I got a better feel now. I can specifically think of one. When I was still living in Indiana, I don't remember why I was here. That's the thing. I don't know if it was like perhaps it was like a volunteer charitable kind of thing. Like we were just, it was held in like some ballroom and we were putting together, I was like licking envelopes and putting like donation requests in for like thousands of them in a matter of like 8 or 9 hours. So it was like some charity event where I was just helping out, right? And I think it was for the elderly or whatever. So when I walk in the room, now mind you, yeah, this is specific to what you're saying, because when I walk in the room, I was still in my experimental phase of like fashion, which I am even currently, but that's when I was like cutting up the shirts myself. Y'all remember that shit? When I was like cutting up the shirts myself, yo, like I was making my collars like this, I was making a big deep U, those U-shaped collars with the chest out. I had the skinnies, like I was still sagging and with the fucking etnies or something on, and I thought I was fresh, whatever, I had the Goodwood NYC chains. So to give you context, that's how I'm looking when I walk in this environment, and I'm definitely the only dude with black. I'm the only one that has even a quarter ounce of African American in them, for sure. Quarter ounce, you know what I'm saying? And like everybody else is at least like 60 years old. They're just like, and like they sit me, so everybody had their like designated seating. So my name was at this table full of like older white women in their like 60s, 70s, 80s or whatever. And I just felt the vibe as soon as I walked in. It could have, part of it was my ego a little bit, I think. And part of it was just like, okay. It's one of those things where you walk in and you're like, huh, I'm here. How did I end up? Wow, I had no idea it would be like this. Yeah. So it was a challenge, but by the end of the night, because I think I got there like after like noon or something. But by like 7, 8 p.m., like I had the room not in my palms, but like I was mingling. I knew people. I felt comfortable. Like everything kind of switched up. And I remember thinking like, yo, in that moment, I felt powerful in the sense of like, okay, I do I can do more than what I thought. You know, if I'm able to like open up to a room like this, where typically I'd want to like, okay, let me turn around immediately. Just being able to be a little more open, change the game. Cause like you immediately think like, do you have anything in common with these 70-year-old white women? You know, especially when I'm walking, you know, looking like this. And by the end of the night, they're like, oh, I love the shirt. And you did that yourself. And, oh, you know, what's this necklace? All these things that they have no idea about, probably don't even really care. But kind of going with the flow a little bit made me feel like I changed the environment in the room.
Dope.
Sorry for that long explanation, man. Shit.
It's okay. I did go, man, he's on a tangent. I should probably interrupt him at some point. No,
yeah, it was a good one.
I could think about I don't know if this is completely it, but it does come to mind. My job at Purdue does these things called research tours. And at the end of every research tour is usually like a retreat. So we go and do like all this studying of Black history, the diaspora, all that kind of stuff in that environment. And this particular one, I think we had just gone to Philly. And so then we went to the Poconos for the retreat. I could be wrong about some aspects of that, but I remember being out there, and this was my first research tour with them. So I had just started the job. Most of the students are around my age or older, but I come across as like mad mature because I'm one of the professionals being brought in to work with them and whatnot. And so there's a bit of unfamiliarity and kind of skepticism because while we're the same age, I can almost seem like a narc because I'm on staff. So, you know, you got to kind of like play that field and whatnot. So then what was happening was in the like one of the bonding things, one of the upperclassmen goes, yo, why don't we play questions? And so everybody explains the games of questions. Like it's a whole thing of you got to catch people off guard. Everybody just talks to each other in questions. And if you take too long to respond with a question, you're out. It's a whole like thing of the game. Out of nowhere, everybody's questions started getting really obscene.
I kind of like that.
And that it started out like, you know, who, what, how you doing? Can I get fries with that? And then it was like, is it true that pink lemonade is piss and blood and period blood? And like if I tap you on the ear with my dick because you're hearing me coming, like it started just kind of going out of nowhere. And then because everybody started getting mad creative and all that kind of shit. And you know me, I love obscene shit. So my brain is like, and I'm just whooping ass. Next thing you know, everybody's like defenses kind of go down and they go, oh shit, Josh is actually really fucking cool because he's kind of just here with us. And then when it's time to be professional, he really is about that. But when it's the other time, we can all chill the fuck out. And
dude, I love that.
And so
that kind of like, yo, you didn't have to play that chaperone. Like you didn't have to seem like a chaperone all the time. Like you're still a cool. And I
wasn't there for
who
that.
Can relate. Yeah. That's dope, yo. I love that. Actually, side note, my girl and I coming up in like early this first week of December are having a little Friendsgiving thing. So one, obviously I wish y'all could be there. But two, I'm hoping that it goes like that because I don't even know half the people's names on the list either. So I'm hoping that at some point folks' defenses can go down and they feel less or not out of place, and that we can kind of like move into, all right, everybody's relaxed. So what's up? You know, the conversation just flows better that way. So
well,
fingers crossed.
I mean, I'm always a proponent of say something uncomfortable to see how people react.
Oh yeah.
Because they can do one, two things. They either gonna nervous laugh and then try to get out of it. They gonna say something mad inflammatory, or they gonna roll with that shit and it's gonna be fucking hilarious. Like it's
I know we're doing like table talk questions. It's like something similar to like the questions game. It's kind of similar, and that could bring about who knows what kind of conversation. And then hopefully you find that 6 other people who you hadn't met that day also agree or have similar experiences, and it's like, oh shit, no, you right, you know, and it kind of changes the game that way a little bit. So fingers crossed, man.
Word. Marco, you got any situation like that?
I couldn't really think of none, man.
That's real.
Can't
It's all
think of
good.
none off the top like that.
It's all good, man. But yo, we can wrap it up there though. I think we hit a good spot.
Yes, sir.
So yo, people out there, we appreciate you. And by all means, if you have any questions for us, if you have any questions that's just burning at you and you're like, you know what, I want to hear some other folks process this shit that goes on in my cranium, then you can write us at informedlyhonestpodcast@gmail.com. You can interact with us on Instagram at Informedly Honest, Facebook, Informedly Honest Podcast, or our Twitter, Informedly_HP. We appreciate you. We love y'all. Every conversation that you have, every connection that you make, and every possible interaction that you endure. On Wednesdays, I'm actually like solidify this, and I say that every episode. Oh, before we get out of here, we were looking at our analytics, and we appreciate y'all listeners, and we trying to work on this, y'all. And so if you got suggestions for us, and you're like, hey, I enjoyed this aspect, but I don't enjoy that thing, we are really sincere about you writing us. By all means. We've reached out to, some marketing folks, and they were like, hey, y'all, this shit sucks. And we're like, cool, we appreciate your feedback. Moving on. Like, we all in the process of growth. But I saw that 52% of y'all, I'm going to look dead at my camera now, 52% of y'all be listening to us on Apple Podcasts. And every week I go rate and review on Apple Podcasts.
Man. Yes, we can't.
Oh no,
we can't reiterate what Josh said. Like I said we can't reiterate what Josh. Yo, don't have me on that rewind shit. Don't have me on that fucking that Nas rewind shit again. All right, don't have me on that Nas rewind shit again. We can't reiterate what Josh said enough. Yo, if you rock with us, and we know that at least some of you do, here's another way to show us that you do and help us out, man.
Yeah, and we are legitimately trying to improve. After the break, we're gonna be working on our production value, getting up on some things. We want to shout out Elias, who actually hit us up on Anchor, because Anchor now does sponsorships, and so you can actually in a Patreon-esque type way be able to contribute that way. You could also hit our Cash App at #, Informedly Honest. But anyways, like if you enjoy the content, we 60. By the time this comes out, over 65 episodes out, and we just trying to grow. And so help us grow and grow with us. We want to build that community. We want to talk to you. And so, this is a sincere request, hell, even a plea, that we really appreciate y'all for rocking with us with just the listens alone and the watches on YouTube and everything. So we just want to continue to build this community and grow it out. It ain't about quantity. It's about quality. And then it becomes about quantity, because numbers. But we appreciate y'all, and this is my vulnerable moment that we joke and shit, but this is being forthright, vulnerable, and honest, which is our principles. That if you really do rock with us, we need the support of your listens, and we also need the other support as well. And by all means, if you got a business that you want to promote on here, we will gladly promote it, as long as it's not like, child trafficking. And like, by all means, you sell food, pastries, butt plugs. We don't care. Put it on here.
Yeah, it's a judgment-free environment.
Yes, tell us about your company that makes ad-lids. Makes the attachments for zippers. We
here for you,
bro.
Yeah. We here for you.
Yes.
So by all means, keep it forthright, keep it vulnerable, and most of all, keep it honest. Peace, y'all.
Peace, y'all. And one last thing, we got coming. We got more merch coming. Just expect it. We got more merch coming. Just hold tight just a little bit longer. It's coming. I love you said more, like we've sold some. They're not supposed to know that.
Your lighting is getting better, man.
This is towards the end. I want to make sure they hear my plea about merch. I want to make sure they hear my pleas. I got to everything. Make sure the visuals is right.
You got movie lighting, man. I like it.
Appreciate that. But yeah,
yes, merch is coming. Aaron's working hard on that. Website is coming. Marcus is working hard on that. Like, you know, we out here. We trying to grow, y'all.
Yeah.
And so stick with us. I promise you won't be disappointed. And when we rise and, you know, continue to evolve, we're making sure y'all gonna come along with us. All right. By all means, we still need a name for y'all, and that's up to y'all. We can't name you. So, you know, if y'all, whatever y'all want to do, y'all send the suggestions on what y'all want to be called. People who support us frequently. All right. Again, keep it forthright, keep it vulnerable, and most of all, keep that shit honest. Peace,
world.
Honesty and
without shedding a tear for my brother. I really wanna try for my brother, 'cause I truly do feel for my brother.